I apply skincare on my face every day, and I usually buy these skincare products every few months or whenever there's a sale. So whenever I need to spend my money on these products, I will feel a pain in my wallet for paying such a big chunk of money, and my spending for the month would have increased a lot. So eventually I figured out that I need to set up a sinking fund system for myself. Sinking fund is simply a temporary saving account where we save our money inside for something that we need to pay in the future, especially for those things that we don't have to pay every month, but we know in mind that we need to pay for them next few months or maybe next year. So I asked a friend whether they know about sinking fund, so a close friend answered me that, hey, I have been paying sinking fund to my condo management every month. So condos in Malaysia have the habit of collecting sinking funds from their residents every month so that they will have a pool of funds for their future usage. For example, the restoration, refurbishment of the building itself, or any repairs and maintenance for the buildings, so that they don't have to dig out from the residents when it happens. They can just go into the sinking funds and pay for the expenses. Likewise, we can actually use sinking fund into our normal day-to-day personal finances. So beginning 2020 this year, I started doing this sinking fund system for myself to buffer for those expenses that I need to pay for, but I don't pay for them every month. I'm so excited that I'm going to show you my sinking fund for year 2020. So beginning of the year, I saw some good deals on the flight ticket to Korea. So I had in mind that I'm heading to a destination for a holiday. So I set up my holiday funds, which I allocated $300 every month. Now the second thing was, I also figured that I'm gonna start my YouTube channel this year. There you go, you're watching my video today. Okay, so for YouTube channel, there are just a lot of things to do with it. So I call myself an investing fund because this is something like a new platform that I'm gonna indulge into this year. As I am doing videos, I strive to do more quality content, more quality video editing. So I'm gonna invest myself into a new camera, a new lighting system, or any other gadgets that I can get off, or software that can help me out with my content, with my video editing stuff, anything that can complement my video. So I am actually saving extra here so that I can buffer in any other business expenses that's coming up in the future. Well, I'm not sure what is it about, but I do hope that if I need to buy anything that can enhance my content and my quality of my video, I have saved out enough money so that I don't have to dig out from my spending. I can just dig it out from my investing funds here. So the third thing is my other sinking fund. Now this sinking fund is more like the day-to-day sinking funds that I have. So for this category, I am allocating $600 monthly, comprising of a few things. So the first thing is about my car maintenance. Well, I bought my car 2.5 years ago, so currently it's still under the warranty of manufacturer. So I don't have to worry about the car repair. But in fact, I am saving aside for my road tax and my car insurance, which are going to be due by end of this year. So skincare, the things that I emphasize a lot, my cosmetic products, things that I don't buy every month but I do need them eventually, and also my grooming expenses. Like you may be wondering, I have my holiday funds here, but we do know what is going on in year 2020. We are experiencing from a COVID-19 pandemic here. So flights in and out of the country, and in fact flights all around the world are not allowed now to stop the virus from spreading. Our focus now is to keep the virus in control so that the infections rates are low. So it seems like holiday is unlikely this year. Yes, in fact this is my thought. So in March 2020, I crossed out this section. Okay, I've decided that maybe for 2020 it doesn't seem logical for me to have my holiday funds. So instead, I changed this fund into another purpose. Well, I believe that all of us are stranded at home during the COVID-19 pandemic. So likewise, I'm actually stranded at home as well. So I figured that during this period, I can somehow use the time that I am at home to learn more things. Well, I do love to learn things, so I figured that I can actually sign up more courses online to learn things about maybe social media, online marketing, or maybe pick up a new hobby. So I simply just changed this category from holidays to learning. Same thing, I'm actually allocating 300 bucks. Well, up to now, I have signed up certain courses whereby I plan to sign up even more. That's why I'm actually allocating 300 bucks every month instead of a one-time cost. So I've demonstrated how I did my sinking fund for 2020, so how about you? Now bear in mind that sinking fund system is actually very personalized. It is heavily depending on your priority of the year. Okay, if you are like me, holiday is no longer your priority, so you have to ask yourself what is your next priority. And it is also depending on your past habits. Like my other sinking funds here, I track them down through my past habits. So sinking funds, to start it up, we have to think of two aspects. Okay, so first, it is always relating to our goals that we have set up during the year. Okay, so whether it is a short-term goal or long-term, it doesn't matter, as long as it's something that you want to achieve. Like for example, if you are thinking of starting a family in 2 years time, you want to get married, so marriage is something that you prioritize at the moment. Perhaps you can actually start up a marriage fund, for example, and you give yourself a timeline when you want to achieve it. 2 years probably. Okay, so when it comes to marriage, perhaps the second thing is you want to think of is to get a first home. So what about saving up money so that you can afford to pay for your first down payment for your first home? 2 years time probably. So goal setting here is very important because it will allow you to know your intention of what you need to do so that you can achieve something in the long term or a short term. So the marriage funds and down payment here is something that you want to achieve more than a year, so it's definitely something that is long term. But one thing that we face is that, yes, I know very well that I'm going to get married or I want to get my first home in 2 years, but how much is it? So that's why budgeting will kick in, because it is when you will need to count how much that you need to save aside every month to achieve this purpose. Now, perhaps you will think that, okay, I need 30,000 for this, and probably I'm actually planning to put down 50,000 for my first home. So in total, 80,000 is something that I need in 2 years time. So you have to divide into 24 months so that you will get an exact amount, how much you save aside. Do not be afraid to start something small. If you can't afford 80,000, probably you can go something that is lower, as long as you start the sinking fund system first. It may sound difficult, but definitely it is not hard as long as you persist. Now, if it is something else, you want to be tracking down something in the past, you can do it by tracking down your monthly expenses. So I managed to actually get my other sinking funds here by tracking down how much exactly I spent last year on my road tax, car insurance, etc. And I realized that these are the things that I got to pay at the end of the year. If you're not sure how to actually keep track of your monthly expenses or to plan for it, perhaps you can even refer to the 50, 30 and 20 rule. Oh my god, this is an amazing tips whereby I shared in one of my videos. If you're a beginner, you're not sure like how to budget for your monthly expenses, this is something that you can refer to. I'll include a link here above so that you can actually go and have a look at this rule if you're stuck here. So by tracking down and understanding your monthly expenses, we will be able to understand our habits, our spending habits, so that we can identify those things that are our regular expenses that we got to pay, but not necessarily every month. We don't actually pay them every month. Okay, like for example, your house here, if you want to buy your house and you want to get married, it is a pool of funds that you need in 2 years time, but you don't pay them every month. You're actually paying it one shot in 2 years time. 2 years, 2 years. So it's definitely not one time. Well, this category is to help you to find out how much exactly you need to save up and to put it into your sinking fund. So now you can see how it jives your intention under your goal setting and how much your figures under budgeting. Alright, so it is just as simple as that. Like, I have definitely set up a goal beginning of the year to start up a YouTube channel. That's why I have set up my investing funds, my new sinking funds, just for this purpose, to cater for my social media online. So what about you? Now, why is sinking fund recommended? By knowing upfront how much to save aside for our future expenses, it will not blow our savings and spendings. And therefore, we don't have to dig into our emergency fund if these are something that we have expected. By preparing for this, we will not likely to swipe our card for a sudden expenses as well, and therefore minimize our stress. Now, talking about stress, I usually feel stressful whenever I need to file in for my annual tax return, because I'm afraid that that's the moment when I need to dig into my emergency fund to pay for my income tax. So this is something that I encountered because I never set up a sinking fund before for my income tax. Allocation on sinking fund is very personalized and it depends on your short-term or long-term goals. If you're expecting a baby in 9 months' time, perhaps you can start right away by setting up a baby funds to cover for your baby expenses, to buy diapers or maybe new clothes for your unborn, and to maybe cover up your confinement expenses after you have delivered. Like for me, my next goal is to set up a sinking fund for my income taxes. Like I said earlier, I'm very afraid of the income tax expenses, which I never had a habit of setting aside the expenses. So I'm still in the midst of filing my annual return for 2019, so I will be able to find out how much I need to buffer in for my next year's income taxes. So that's when I will start up my expenses and start up my sinking fund. Now, what about you? I hope that you'll be able to start up your sinking fund today. All the best to you, and I'll see you again in my next video. Bye!